I need to get a samurai sword at some point in time if I'm gonna keep talking about One Piece. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Particularly one that's at least somewhat higher quality than plastic or foam. But I haven't come across anything at the moment. Well, that's not entirely true. There is a store in the mall that happens to sell swords. Don't ask me why. Um, they also sell like other exotic things. Like they also have like Harry Potter wand replicas, and they also have like corsets, and they have like weird animal like not taxidermy, but other animals and things like that, and puppets. Um, and I looked at the swords. I was trying to see what the tags were, and the guy yelled at me. I'm like, dude, you have the swords out here. I'm trying to look at the tags. They're not exceedingly well labeled. I was trying to see if they look like anything from One Piece. Oh well, okay. Time to talk about Wano. Or at the very least, reunions from Wano that hopefully we'll be seeing at some point in time. So, at the moment, until Egghead Island gets finished, or until something along those lines happens, depending on what else happens with Egghead Island, I don't think there'll be any more like reunion videos that are like happy reunions. I am kind of thinking about like kind of villain rematches type stuff, because we kind of got a little bit of that with like Lucci and Kaku showing back up again, and with Wapol in the story, depending on where this lands when I release it, when this debuts, we'll see what happens, where, what's going on with Wapol at this point in time. Although, admittedly, well, I don't know if Wapol would fall down from a blast of Conqueror's Haki from Luffy or Zoro. I don't know if that would happen, but I'm pretty sure that Chopper could very easily take down Wapol at this point in time, just with as much experience and training and everything like that that Chopper has done. He could take Wapol down exceedingly easily. But this is not about Wapol. This is about Wano. And actually, I realized I just lied. I do have other reunion videos planned, because there's stuff with like the Revolutionary Army that I have planned for, like, stuff there, stuff with like reunions with Shanks, depending on what happens with that. So I guess I technically lied. Well, I didn't lie. I forgot. So, oh well. To talk about Wano. So obviously at the top of the list in regards to reunions with Wano, there's seeing, Momonosuke again, and seeing Hiyori again, and of course the Scabbards and Shinobu and Tama and Toko and, Hirogoro and Yamato, pretty much all of them. So in regards to seeing Momonosuke and Hiyori again, seeing Momonosuke getting more, doing more training and stuff like that with the Scabbards, with his sword, getting better with, I think he ended up supposedly getting Ame no Habakiri, I believe, because Zoro has Enma, because Hiyori gave him Enma, so I think it should be Ame no Habakiri, I think is the other sword that Odin used to wield, and was bequeathed to, Momonosuke. So, hopefully he's been doing a lot of training, both in regards to physically training, in regards to getting more used to the new, his new adult body and stuff like that, and training in his dragon form. Having Yamato there would definitely be able to help with Momonosuke training and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure that Yamato should be able to take some of the different attacks that Momonosuke can dish out at this point in time, considering how much Yamato had to deal with Kaido over the years and stuff like that. So Yamato and Momonosuke working on training with that way. Also all of the different Scabbards that are of course still around, helping with training and stuff like that for Momonosuke, would also make a lot of sense. And just getting him more prepared for at some point in time if Wano does get attacked. I mean, like, depending on the pirates that try to attack Wano or something along those lines, it's not like, the giant waves that they have to get past and the swim up the waterfall type thing, that type of stuff, because not everybody is going to have Luffy's mind where it's just like, ooh, look, giant fish, I'm going to grab onto them and then we can use them to go up the waterfall. Luffy's brain astounds me at times. But that's the point. So I can, seeing a giant pink dragon fly out of the sky if you're trying to attack Wano is probably going to be a good deterrent for some people. In that regard, considering how Momonosuke looks much more threatening than he did when we first met him as the dragon. Oh, I hear the dog. Rainy, you want to come upstairs? I'm going to talk about a white ice puppy soon. Happy baby! He's like, well, I was happy, and then I saw that you closed my window. Oh, you're fine. Hi. I love you. You're a good baby. You couldn't put your head by the window. No one's stopping you. He's like, but there's a shade in my way. Hi. You're a puppy. You're my baby. I love you. You a giant white puppy like Yamato? And Yamato is a wolf. I am not a wolf. You can lay down. Or not, or you can get off the bed or whatever. That's up to you. Okay, I gotta go back to recording. Here, I'll tilt myself so you can see the dog until he makes up his decision. Oh, you're fine. Dog treat in the middle of the video. So in regards to that, definitely like a giant pink dragon that Momonosuke can turn into is definitely going to be a fair amount of a deterrent to prevent other pirates from trying to attack, or at least, good amount of pirates from trying to attack. That doesn't mean someone wouldn't try, and then if Momonosuke sends out a couple of Boro breaths, once he kind of gets trained in that more, Yamato sends out some ice depending on stuff, even having the scabbards there and stuff like that, sending out some of their different attacks and things like that. Another thing that they could do that was obviously something that like Raizo pulled on Kaido was, of course, Raizo used his scroll fruit in order to like capture several of, I think it was like at least one, if not 2 or 3 of like Kaido's Boro breaths within his scrolls, and then he, released them. So, it's not like they couldn't do that anyway with Momonosuke's power, have, Raizo, gather up all of that energy and stuff like that, so that way they can then use that as like deterrence against, other pirates that try to attack Wano, or even... Apparently the swords disagreed with me. It's okay. It's okay. They just decided to fall. It's okay. They're all plastic. They can't hurt you. Here. I will fix them. Okay? Lay back down. It's okay. 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 I will fix them. Okay. Are you going to watch the swords now and make sure they don't fall again? Or are you just going to stare at me and give me side eye? Okay, whatever. You got random thing in the video. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like using Raizo's, scroll jutsu to like gather up different attacks from, well, technically from several of the scabbards in regards to Momonosuke, and even having, Yamato, haha, I've been on a bleach kick. Yamato, having Yamato, gather up several of their powers and stuff like that, like their attacks for like their ice attacks and stuff like that. If they have like, projectile attacks and things like that, putting those into the scrolls and using those as different types of, deterrents that they can use against other people coming to try to attack them would be a very good idea, in my opinion. That just seems like, since, Oda has used that as part of the story at the moment, and I think that would be a good way of doing that. But yes, in regards to what Hiyori's probably been up to, she's probably been working on trying to help with rebuilding efforts in different areas, trying to get, people moved out of the different out of the the leftovers towns and stuff like that, and getting them moved into cleaner places, better places to live. Given the fact that Ryokogu, with his devil fruit with the Mori Mori no Mi, that he was able to kind of rejuvenate good chunks of Wano in certain areas, particularly around Udon and up to the flower capital and such. That was definitely a help. Whether how much that got rid of a whole bunch of the poison in the water is also left up for debate. They probably also worked on getting all of the different factories shut down and stuff like that. Definitely still want to keep a lot of the weapons around. I would hope that they would at least do that. Hopefully they would at least keep some of the weapons around. But I don't know. Because using those to outfit, other people that want to help try to fight down the line and help with defending Wano and things like that with the other samurai, that would be a wise decision of keep some of those things that they can use, particularly in regards to stuff that would be what's happening with Tama's devil fruit, with all of the different beast pirates and stuff like that ate the dongos and were then under Tama's control, particularly Speed and several of the other ones that were at the prison. Because they would be the first ones to, fall out of that control. And then there's the whole question of whenever we see them again or whenever we get an update on them, however that goes, with either a cover story or, they show up at the battle somewhere or whatever, having any of those beast pirates still around, Speed and stuff like that, would be good. And having them help work on actually try to rebuild Wano would be a good idea as well. Any of the ones that either didn't eat the dongos or decide to leave once the dongos were off, in those cases, I would think that would lean more towards they would just want to leave and get it over with. And by technicality, in those cases, if they're not willing to work with the Kazukis and the Scabbards at this point in time, yes, arrest them. Arrest them. If Speed wants to continue to work alongside them and everything like that to repent for what happened and things like that, same thing with some of the other ones that were at the prison and things like that, then, if they want to continue to work alongside, Tama and Momonosuke and stuff like that, perfectly fine in that regard. Let them stay. Let them do that. Let them use their skills. And then going into the ones that don't want to stay, or the ones that try to cause upheaval or stuff like that, those ones should be locked away. Put them in the prison. Don't work them the way that Kaido worked them and Queen worked them and stuff like that. Not that. Don't work them to the bone like that. Give them much more hospitable living conditions, food, things like that, food, water, things along those lines. Give them better setup in that regard would be a wise decision. To show this improvement. It's just yes, just because Kaido treated us this way, that doesn't mean that we're going to stoop to his level and treat the people who are our prisoners, yes, the same way that Kaido treated us while we were his prisoners. We're going to do better than that, because that shows that they at least know better than what Kaido did. So I would put that there. I would see Hiyori. Hiyori's probably going to be happy to see, Zoro again at whatever point in time that happens. I would also love it if we just get another moment where we see Luffy riding Momonosuke into battle at some point in time, either against Blackbeard or against the world government, against Marijois or that type of a thing. That would be fun. Luffy riding, Momonosuke in his, full dragon form all the way up to, fight against Marijois and the celestial dragons there and stuff like that. That would be a good allegory, I'm sure. That would be just another great image for Oda to draw as well, of just all of these celestial dragons just terrified of this rubber boy on this pink dragon showing up in their holy city and just terrifying the crap out of them. I would love that. That would be so fun to watch. In regards to the Scabbards, seeing Kine'mon again and stuff like that, he is a strong fighter. All of the Scabbards are strong. Seeing Kiku, whatever, her getting more used to not having her arm and training in that regard. Denjiro helping with, helping all of them help with rebuilding Wano, and then, seeing the Straw Hats again at some point in time. Neku and Ino getting to see how Carrot's running Zoe at some point in time would be good as well. I already mentioned Raizo earlier. In regards to Shinobu, seeing Shinobu help with Tama's training. Also seeing what happens with Toko. So obviously Yasuie is no longer around. He died, unfortunately. So having Toko hopefully being taken in there, because Hiyori treated Toko like a little sister, and now Tama and Toko can be friends. I was trying to remember if we saw Toko during the ending of Wano. I know we saw Tama with Shinobu, because Shinobu, got skinny again, and I'm like, if that weight loss routine does not result in near death, can I try it? So she's training Tama, so we know that, and Tama is training to become a shinobi, become a ninja, and stuff like that. So that way she can, achieve the dream that she wanted and everything like that because of Ace. And I don't remember if we saw Toko. If anything, I know we saw her with Sukeyaki. And everything like that, with, find out that he's, Sukeyaki is Kitetsu and everything like that. So we know that. I know we saw them at the Fire Festival, where they were, releasing the lantern and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I cannot remember if we saw Toko at the end of it, or she ended up, because I don't remember if she was in the bath scene or not. And I'm sure we saw her somewhere during the festival and stuff like that, because I know that we saw Kine'mon reunite with Suru during the festival, and he's like, yeah, she's still as pretty as the last time that I saw her, which I just love that with Kine'mon and her. I love that. That he still thinks it's been 20 years since he's seen her. She now has a scar, from, trying to protect the people of Okabore town and stuff like that, doing her job as much as she could there, has been helping people the last 20 years. He still sees her as the most beautiful, woman he's ever seen and everything like that. I love that with their relationship. I don't expect us to see Suru again at any point in time, although some point, flashback, whatever, I'm fine with that. I'm really hoping in the anime that they kind of do a little bit more of because in the anime they'll draw stuff out, of course, and I hope in the anime when we do get to that point where they're wrapping up Wano, I hope we get a little bit more of a scene where we see Kine'mon and Suru reunited. I'm hoping that we get that. Get it? It was draw it out a little bit. I don't care. I like that. I'm good with it. Please. And maybe we'll get a little bit more of seeing Kiku mourning over Izo, and more of Ashura Doji's men mourning over him and stuff like that. Kind of some of those things drawing out for those emotional moments. I don't have a problem with if they do that in the anime. But in regards to seeing some of the scabbards and Shinobu and stuff like that, who is kind of an honorary scabbards at this point in time, let's be honest. Seeing them show up and helping, during either the final war or whatever the case may end up being, that would be nice. Because I know that they have the Straw Hat flag now to fly over Wano as it being part of Luffy's territory. Did they get a Beaver card? Did Luffy give them a piece of his Beaver card that Sabo made for Luffy? Because if he did, then that would make sense. Because then they would at least have the Beaver card in case, if they communicate back to Wano, then that's fine. And then they can, then Yamato and the others can use the Beaver card to find Luffy or something like that if something happens. So that would be, I don't think they mentioned the Beaver card, but maybe that was something else that they did. Well, they left the Beaver card there, so they would be able to, deal with that. Again, Hirogoro. In regards to that, seeing Hirogoro again, seeing him, having, rebuilt the Yakuza and everything like that, that would be good. Helping again with the people and keeping them safe, and him training new warriors and stuff like that would be good. Seeing the different scabbards training new warriors, rebuilding the seeing like Raizo and Shinobu rebuilding the what was the group that was led by Fukurokuju? I don't remember, but like seeing them rebuild that around the Kozuki clan, around Momonosuke and Hiyori and stuff like that would be good. So that would be good there. Seeing Hirogoro and everything with that would be good. Then again, also, if just like Hirogoro wants to retire, then that would be fine too. Maybe him and Sukeyake can retire, because technically they probably would have known each other, given the time frame when they were both, when Sukeyake was, Shogun of Wano, and when Hirogoro was like the leader of like the Yakuza and stuff like that. So they probably knew each other, in all honesty. Again, Sukeyake, I don't think he has any intention of like revealing himself to the public on a whole, but they might reveal like he told Hiyori and Momo, and he told the Scabbards, and by technicality that probably meant that like Hirogoro found out that his maybe, I don't know about friend but old acquaintance possibly was still alive, finding out that Tama and Toko maybe finding out about who he really was and stuff like that, and Yamato finding out, like, that type of stuff would be fine, because I don't think that they would go and blab it to the rest of the country. But again, I would also like to get a resolution as to, I know there's a lot of people that think that Tama is possibly a Kurozumi. And then if they show this new generation of Kurozumi working alongside, the Kozuki, that would be good as well. But in regards to, seeing them again, definitely want to see the different Scabbards at some point in time again, see, Yamato. I wanted Yamato to go with the Straw Hats so much. I really did. Didn't happen, unfortunately. I mean, like, somewhat of a valid reason in regards to, like, I want to stay to help protect Wano more, because we saw what, Ryokogu was able to do. And maybe, having me here would be a good deterrent, and I can help with protecting, stuff like that. So I get where they're coming from with that, but I also, like, as much as Yamato's like, I want to go with you guys, I want to go with you, I want to go with you, and then it doesn't happen. But, the offer still stands, and at some point in time, Yamato might go and find the Straw Hats. I mean, Yamato can kind of do the same thing that, Kuzan can, that Aokiji can do, where he can, where Yamato can, run across the water and like freeze it because of its powers, and just like follow the Beaver card to wherever Luffy is. If they have a Beaver card, they would be able to do that. Hi, I'm almost done. So it's not like Yamato wouldn't be able to find them. Hey, no dig. Hey, no dig on the bed. No dig. He's like, but I make more comfortable to lay down. See? I'm almost done. You're fine. And then you can have the window, okay? When I'm done. Why are you whining at me? You're fine. He's been outside. He's had a walk. He's had food. He's like, yeah, but anyway, okay. But yeah, so seeing all of them again would be good. Yeah, finding out what happens with the Beast Pirates, how many of them stay, how many of them go. I mean, getting updates on like what happened to, the rest of the Toby Roppo and stuff like that, and whether or not King and Queen are still alive, and Jack is still alive. I wouldn't be surprised if Inarashi killed Jack, but we didn't get the answer to that. Queen and King were in the prison, and they got drained by Aramaki, so there's that, but I don't think that they're dead. Um, Given the amount of prominence that they gave to the Lunarian race with King and with stuff with the Seraphim at this point in time, I don't think that they're going to just like straight up kill King, kind of off screen him or off page him. I don't think they're going to do that. Um, so it would be interesting to find out what happens with that. See if what King thinks of the Seraphim would be very interesting. But that might be more of like a seeing the villains again or something like that, where I go through and do that. So there wasn't really too much else there I wanted to talk about. Yeah, Momo and Hiyori, seeing them again and reunited with the Straw Hats again would definitely be good. Finding out how many more times Yamato kept putting a plate on top of Momonosuke's head because it made him look more like Odin. That's another thing. And actually kind of seeing how the people of Wano, or finding out how the people of Wano react to Yamato and react to now having the Beast Pirates, or some of the Beast Pirates that choose to stay and choose to like repent or make up for what they did, having them there, finding out how the people of Wano feel about that would be a very interesting way of doing it as well, because either they're going to get locked, either the former Beast Pirates are going to stay and help and, whatever ends up happening with that, where they end up working with the Kozukis, which would be good. Some are probably going to try to leave. Some of them they may let leave if they manage to escape somehow. And then other ones may end up getting locked up if they choose either not to stay and help, or if they try to cause a rebellion or something like that, then they will get locked up, in my opinion, and then hopefully have better conditions than what had been given to the different, the citizens of Wano that were, trapped there. Also, kind of finding out how many of the Beast Pirates, because like obviously a lot of them were probably like just like other pirates that came to Wano and either wanted to come and work just for Kaido anyway because of his status as an emperor, or if they came and tried to fight him and got defeated and stuff like that, like happened to a lot of the other, some of the Tokoropo and stuff like that, or if it was some of them were like actual citizens of Wano that were just like, hey, we could get better status within the pirates if we just went and worked for Kaido and just went and did that and like become, a waiter and then like a gifter or a pleasure, and unfortunately a good chunk of cases, and like a headliner or something like that. So we don't know exactly how that's built, how many of them were from outside of Wano, how many of them were from within Wano. But seeing like the result of that would be good, in my opinion, or would be an interesting way of showing that off. Showing these contrasting styles between the way that Momo and Hiyori and the Scabbards are handling these, the prisoners and stuff like that, and the ones that are, wanting to help and fix things and repent, compared to the way that Kaido had been treating the people and the way that Orochi had been treating the people. Also, yes, getting a resolution for whether or not they say anything about like, okay, so the Kozuki clan have like made it now illegal to do like the Kurozumi hunting and things like that, and stuff along those lines, and like seeing how the people, how the children of Wano are now being taught for like the real history of Wano. Also, at some point in time, there's a whole thing of like, whatever the heck happens with Uranus, or with Pluton, excuse me, whatever the heck happens with Pluton, is also the other answer there of like, okay, are we ever going to pull out the giant ship? Are we ever going to like just, break the walls around Wano and let them out, however that's going to be? And what are going to be the results of that? Because at the very least, if they do, destroy the walls and let all the water out and are able to get to that, either that means Wano is just going to be completely and utterly destroyed, or it means that now they have to like rebuild again, which it's not like they haven't done it before. So we'll see how that goes. So that's what I wanted to put in there. The next one in regards to the anniversary ones, I think I have are the Revolutionary Army ones. Or the Revolutionary Army reunions that I'm somewhat interested in. So That's what I have. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. You got to see Rainy for a good chunk of the video, so I'm sure you liked that because he is very cute and fluffy and puppy. And I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye.